Hey there, guys. This is Flamzeron, aka YouTube's Tasuke. Do you know what time it is? Well, it's uh 3:45 in the morning, but what it actually is, it's review time. Yay! I'm gonna review another video game. Hooray! This one's probably one of the bigger ones that's been out for a while, and I had kind of had like a decent chunk of the game, or at least like what you could consider like the main point of the game, or like the story mode. The story mode, basically, World of Light. I had a major chunk of it completed. I was trying to get the true ending, and that took a little bit of while based on what you had to do to actually unlock that reward. I'll go into it as we continue, but yeah, if you haven't figured it out yet, the game I'm going to be reviewing is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for the Nintendo Switch. Probably the most anticipated Switch game for the time being. There might be something besides the recently announced Pokemon Sword and Shield, which, in case you care, I'm getting Sword. For those who know me, could probably already tell. But anyway, here we're going to talk about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and yeah, so yeah, this game, for those who don't know, is the latest Super Smash Bros. Game for the Nintendo Switch, like I already said, and this one's big claim to fame is that it's got every character from Super Smash Bros. History, plus some new people. So in total, 74 characters, not counting DLC, and they're counting Pokemon Trainer as one character, and I think they're not counting the Mii fighters as well. Yeah, that's basically what this is, having all these characters and some new people, some pretty cool surprises as well. Like they revealed, obviously Solid Snake is back, and also Simon Belmont from Castlevania, he's in, as well as my boy Richter Belmont, who's my favorite Castlevania character. So that was nice to kind of have him as like a little added bonus. And DLC's been announced. I'm not going to go into like the rumors and whatnot, but so far we've got I think it's just the Piranha Plant. I don't think it's PD Piranha Plant. I don't remember, but also Joker from Batman. No, Joker from Persona 5 is coming as well. He's supposed to be coming pretty soon, I believe. Like I think sometime in as we're getting into spring. I think in like, isn't it supposed to be May or something? I'm not sure. There's been some other rumors, and I'm like one of the people who's hoping for a Tails rep, especially considering I believe Namco Bandai still developed the game. I actually have the box art with me. No, never mind, I was wrong. It was Sora, I believe, did most of the, or rather, if Namco Bandai did anything, it was like small, because I know they developed, I think it was Smash 4 for the Wii U and 3. I think they developed that, but in this one, I think it was more in-house, I guess we'll say. But yeah, overall, I liked the game. I think after playing this, I think I'm good with not having another Smash Brothers game. So, but I'll go into why now. So, since this game has so many characters, I think I'll start with the roster. I like it. I think they did a pretty good job of making every character, taking advantage of some of these extra moves that some of these characters have. Because, especially for characters like Link, where due to Breath of the Wild, they could kind of play around with how he fights. Like instead of having a bomb and he throws it, he's got that Sheikah Slate bomb where like you throw it, and then like you can leave it there, and then if you press the button again, it'll blow up because it'll pull out his Sheikah Slate. Whereas I believe with Young Link, it's a bomb, a regular bomb. And I think with Toon Link, it's also a bomb. And with Mario, his down B, he pulls out Flood and does the little Super Mario Sunshine, water thing. Whereas I think Dr. Mario has like that little flurry punch thing that he had in the original and Melee. I don't remember if Sunshine came out before Melee. I don't think it did. I don't think it. Because I remember Melee was one of like the earlier GameCube games. It wasn't a launch title, I don't think, but it was one of the earlier games, I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm not the biggest Nintendo guy. And like some of the additions that they made to some of these other characters that I noticed, like I noticed Falco, they kind of played around with a little bit as well, and he's one of my mains, so I liked him. My ultimate main is Cloud. My three mains I'd say are probably Cloud, Adult, Regular Link, and Falco. And I liked playing as all three of them. Link, I probably played as the most due to World of Light, since you have to unlock every... Because you have to unlock everyone, obviously. They don't give you everybody. But in World of Light, you also have to unlock characters to use them as well. Thankfully, like, it counts over if you unlock a character in World of Light. You'll have that character for the rest of the game. But if you are done playing World of Light, or you decide to play like the arcade mode or what have you, and you unlock a character there, it won't count towards World of Light for story purposes. So for the most part, I played as Link, and I've gotten to where I'm pretty decent with him. He was, before Cloud came around, he was sort of like my go-to, like, okay, if I want to win, this is who I play as. But once Cloud came out, he kind of became my guy, which is kind of funny because I'm not really the biggest Final Fantasy guy. Obviously, since I'm a Tails fan. But I liked playing as Cloud. Once I got him, the game got pretty easier for me, even though I was playing as Link as well. Before that, I was playing as Marth, because, again, World of Light. But basically, I'm overall pleased with the roster. I'm probably the only guy that actually kind of thinks this, but I don't really like Dark Pit and Dark Samus being there, because I feel like it kind of... Like, I know they're different kinds of characters, and they've got different styles and movesets, but I feel like they should have added in 2 extra characters and just, like, bumped it to 76 and fucking say, like, okay, and these guys are here too. It's like, you know... I don't really like that they're the, like... I know they're not, like, the definitive, like, last ones they put in the game or anything, but it's just like, I feel... To me, it almost feels like they're taking up space, and I know I'm probably alone on that, but, that's just my opinion. But overall, I like the roster. I was actually going to maybe try and get back into Wolf, because I remember in Brawl, I had kind of a affection for Wolf, just because I like the idea of sort of a more aggressive, kind of, like, edgier Fox, because Fox is sort of low-key my standard. In Smash 1 and then Melee, pretty much in all of them, I use Fox sort of as like my standard before I have anyone else. And also, now in the old days, when I first played Smash on the N64, I played as Donkey Kong, because I was a Donkey Kong boy. But after that, I kind of became a Fox guy, and then of course Falco came out, and I started playing as Falco. Ideally, I'd like to kind of be good as Falco. I like Falco because I feel like he's quick like Fox, and he hits like Fox, but he's slow enough to where I can kind of control him a little bit more. That's part of the reason why I don't play as Fox, is because I feel like he's a little too fast for me. Cloud, I feel like, is kind of similar in that regard to, not that he's faster or slower than anyone in particular, but like I feel like he's got like a good speed, and like I feel like also for me, matching a character's moveset or understanding a character's moveset really helps for me. Like I feel like since the way Cloud fights really works for me. Like it was sort of just like really natural, and I never did a video on Smash 4, I don't think. So, which is kind of why I'm sort of like giving you guys probably a bit more information than you really need for a basic review on Smash Ultimate. But yeah, basically my mains are Cloud, Link, and Falco. I'm probably the worst with Falco, but that's mainly just because like I was so used to sort of equipping my characters with spirits that increase the sword attack, so I got really used to just hitting really hard. Because that's sort of my major strategy with Smash. I try to hit as hard as I can, since it's kind of an endurance game. And I found that like when I just like focus on just like one opponent at a time, that's sort of where I do best. And of course I try to take advantage of like if I can hit 2 enemies with one attack while focusing on one enemy, you know. Whereas with Falco, I don't really have a how do I put this? Not a real strong understanding, I guess, of his moveset. I don't know. I kind of like that he kicks his little reflector thing instead of just being a little, it's kind of like, you know, dinking it. And I kind of like that his fire flash move, or whatever it's fucking called, where he goes Super Saiyan and he goes, oh, and he goes up. To me, that seems kind of quicker. And then Fox's, I'd have to kind of look back, because I didn't play as Fox hardly at all. I played as him for a little bit just because I wanted to play as someone like Falco. But, you know, overall, roster so far, pretty good. I actually like that everyone's in. because then that gives everyone someone to play as. And I liked for Link that they gave him not only his like blue champion outfit from Breath of the Wild, but also gave him like the classic look from that game, just so that people who want to kind of have like that classic Link look can do that. And some other characters have extra costumes, like, you know, obviously Cloud has his Advent Children thing, and of course Wario, I'm pretty sure, has like his classic costume, and then his WarioWare costume. And Mario has his, I think it's his Mario Maker getup with the yellow safety helmet, and then he's got like his tuxedo with the hat, I believe, his wedding outfit from Odyssey, I don't remember. But, you know, I actually kind of like they're throwing in extra costumes for some of these characters. I think they should actually do that more often. In fact, I would not be opposed of them doing paid DLC for, I know people are going to be like, what, paid DLC? No. Like, but, I mean, they probably would charge us. It would be, like, probably $1, like, maybe $5 for, like, extra costumes for some of these characters that have extra costumes. For some of them, it probably wouldn't be worth. Like, I'm thinking, like, with Cloud, like, what would you do? Give him the Kingdom Hearts outfit? I mean, that'd be cool. Fucking Richter, maybe giving him his Symphony of the Night, or his Dracula X Chronicles remake costume, or Simon, one of his like more classic looks or something. Because they're kind of going for a Super Castlevania 4 look with him, I've noticed. That's my opinion, at least. He kind of looks sort of like that. I think he looks pretty cool, though. But, yeah, so I will say this, though, speaking of the roster, one thing that really triggered me hardcore, because I remember when the game first got announced, I think I was like at work or something, or I was sleeping, and I looked at like Siliconera, and it said like, these are all the characters announced for Smash so far, and it showed a picture of Sonic and Knuckles. I'm like, holy shit, is Knuckles confirmed for Smash? That is badass. But it turns out he's just a fucking assist trophy. And Zero from Mega Man as well. And it's like, bro, come on. I would have loved to play as Zero, or Knuckles for that matter. And I know neither one of them is going to be DLC. I was like, really? Like, you're not going to give me either one of those? Like, I know there's a rumor that we might get a Dragon Quest character, which that would appease my desires of having Goku in a Smash game, because I feel like, well, close enough. Plus, I feel like Dragon Quest kind of deserves to be in it, because it's like one of the big 3 RPGs, and they already have Cloud from Final Fantasy. So I would, and, you know, with Tails, since I'm thinking like that, you know, obviously I'd want Reed. I think they'd probably pick either Lloyd or Yuri above anyone else, because I feel like they're going to want to pick the characters that's the most popular, and Yuri probably makes the most sense, unfortunately, even though I would prefer Lloyd, because, you know, on the character polls, Yuri was always at the top. Until they finally like had to like shut him down and be like, you can't vote for him anymore. And then they brought him back, and he actually finally was sort of dethroned, I believe. I think Mikleo was still like the #1. I'd have to look back and see. But I would prefer Lloyd, and I think most fans would probably prefer Lloyd, since that was sort of like the big one, and that was the one that had it start on the GameCube as well. So, but you know, they can do what they want. I'd be fine with the Dragon Quest character, you know. I can't really think of too many other characters I would want that they haven't already basically deconfirmed. Like, obviously I'd want Knuckles or Zero. That'd be awesome. But, you know, it is what it is. I think I'd be okay with Shadow, too. He could be an Echo Fighter for Sonic. I'm surprised they didn't do that. I think he's also an assist trophy as well. I kind of like the way they do the assist trophies, because it's almost like, how do I put this, secondary characters in a way, because some of them have like, some of them almost feel like they're basically just regular characters. Like Zero's kind of one, Knuckles I think was one, Guile kind of similar, I guess. I'm also glad that Ken's in the game, because he was always my favorite character in Street Fighter, so that's always cool. But yeah, little butthurt over some of my favorite characters being only assist trophies. Namely just Knuckles and Zero, so like the 2 of my favorite video game characters. It'd be cool if they put in someone from Mortal Kombat, and it would be topical too, since 11's coming out for the Switch, but that might be kind of difficult. So yeah, character roster overall, I'm pleased with it. Again, I kind of wish we had some extra characters just to kind of balance out the fact that that two of the rosters are more or less just evil versions of other characters. It seems kind of, I don't know, bittersweet to me. But, you know, I know some people probably like those characters, and, you know, I'm not saying they're just carbon copies. I mean, we have the whole Echo Fighter thing, so it's like, it's not like we can't have characters that are similar to other characters. Hell, my favorite character from Castlevania is an Echo Fighter of another character. And you could say, I'm pretty sure Falco is technically an Echo Fighter of Cloud, right? Like, didn't they kind of reclassify characters that way? Oh, and King K. Rool, that was also really cool. That was definitely a nice highlight, because I'm a Donkey Kong boy at heart when it comes to Nintendo. So having King K. Rool was awesome. And he's apparently, like, majorly OP. I haven't played as him that much, but, you know, he's pretty I think. Music, I think, is also pretty good. I'm going to save, I think, story for last, because that's kind of where everything kind of goes in. But music was pretty good. I liked the remake of, I think it's called Divine Bloodlines, officially Richter's theme. The I think that's a pretty good song. One of the Golden Sun songs sounds straight up like a Tails song. Like, is this that one song from fucking Vesperia? And it's funny because I listened to it, and like, it's actually was arranged by Motoi Sakuraba, which is kind of funny. So it has very much a Tails flair. But yeah, the music's pretty good. Some of them were nice little nostalgia bits. One of the Splatoon songs I really liked during the World of Light section, where you're in like that weird like electric place, where it's like, I actually like that song. And of course I like, you know, that the squid chick from or the Inkling from Splatoon is in there, because, you know, you can play as the schoolgirl version if you want to. I'm like, hell yeah. But that's the music, pretty good. Overall presentation I like of the game, and I like the use of the spirits as well, because it's almost sort of like the, hey, this is why we weren't able to put in all these other characters. Because I think in a perfect world, like, Super Smash Bros. Would just be like the ultimate like conglomerate of like video game fighting of all time. And I'm kind of the mind that for Smash Brothers to truly continue and be successful, or not to be successful, but like, basically, I think it would be kind of cool if they started adding in non-Nintendo characters, which they're starting to do, because I feel like, you know, there are plenty of people who love these characters and love all of them, but like, there are also people like me who like, we like some of these characters, but like, we're not really majorly into them. Like, you know, when I first played Smash Brothers on the N64, there were a handful of characters I didn't know. Like, I didn't know Samus, I didn't know Ness, I didn't know Captain Falcon. I think I knew everyone else, though. I'd have to, like, I knew Link, I knew Mario, I knew Luigi, I knew Donkey Kong. I recognized Foxed. I foxed up. But, yeah. And, of course, I knew Pikachu and Jigglypuff. But, you know, there were a couple of characters I didn't know. And then, of course, when I didn't know who the Ice Climbers were. Obviously, I didn't know who the Fire Emblem people were. I didn't know who Mewtwo was. No, I knew who Mewtwo was. And, yeah, just little stuff like that. But, yeah, obviously, I know who all these characters are. I haven't played, you know, all their games, and I don't necessarily plan to, but, you know. But I feel like, you know, all these little, like, references and jokes and whatnot were cool. Especially in the World of Light, where they pair up some of these characters, and like the conditions to the fights are pretty interesting. And in some cases, they'll use the Mii fighters because they'll have the costume, so they'll do a thing where, like, you know, then suddenly the spirit possesses like this Mii fighter. Now you have to fight the spirit, kind of. And then, you know, they'll take advantage of music and whatnot. And I feel like the thematics of everything they did pretty good with. But, and speaking of the Mii fighters, I actually like those a lot better here, because one, they're all like one standard size. Two, they generally just look better. And three, I like that you can change the color of their outfits, because at first it was just like you were stuck based on what you picked their favorite color was. I think it defaults to that, but I like that you could actually switch up their colors. I'll try and show some of mine. Of course, I made, you know, the custom Robo guy. Something like, okay, well, if you're not going to give me a custom Robo character, I'll just make my own. I imagine if they end up not putting Lloyd in the game, I'll try to make him using the costumes. They've already said that they're going to make DLC for the other costumes. So, but yeah. So overall, so far, based on what I'm saying, it probably sounds like this game's perfect, but no, not really, because the story I think is actually okay. Like all these characters coming in to like try to fight this big light army by these a bunch of like master hands. They all get like beaten up and their spirits get sucked away, and then they get sucked into or like put into like these like weird doll evil versions of some of these other characters, and you have to free them all. Kirby was the only one to survive, so you start off playing as Kirby, which I think makes sense because that's Masahiro Sakurai's like that's his specific like Nintendo game. Like I'm sure as time goes on, there are gonna be people who be all like, creator of Smash Brothers, Masahiro Sakurai, but I think most Nintendo fans are gonna think creator of Kirby. So I think that's actually kind of fitting, and I think it's also kind of fitting for the final Smash game. I'm not saying that this is gonna be the final Smash game, but I feel like that kind of makes sense on some level. Like thematically, that would kind of work. And then I got Mario in the story mode, because what ends up happening is that you go on this like map and you go to like different points and you have to do these different matches with different conditions to free spirits, and then you get then there are also several of them where you have to fight the other characters. And there's one where I got Mario, so I played as him because I wasn't really too big on Kirby. I was able to kind of make it work. I kind of like how when you do a really big hit, the game kind of zooms in and it's like a and then the character goes flying. I kind of like that. I don't know, it kind of made the game seem like it was a bit easier than it probably is. It naturally is, but so then after I got Mario, I wanted to play as a sword guy, so I took advantage of Marth and I played as Marth, which he was pretty fun to play as. I felt like I was able to kind of get into his style, and I took advantage of the counters. That was pretty useful in like a pinch. I guess I should probably also note that most of the characters have English voices in this game, including the Fire Emblem characters, which for the longest time they didn't. I think that's primarily because of like for most of the games they didn't have English voices for like Marth and whatnot. He's voiced by Yuri Lowenthal, and I think he does a pretty good job. I don't remember the name of the actor who plays Roy, but I think it's Matt Mercer playing Chrom, and whoever does Lucina and Ike. I think they get from the mobile game because I'm pretty sure the mobile game has an English dub. So a lot of the characters that weren't in Fire Emblem Warriors, they take from there, and I'm okay with them being voiced in English. I feel like that's kind of something I like to see. It would be kind of cool if it was like in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, to where you could pick which individual characters were dubbed or not. That actually would be kind of cool. Because for nostalgia's sake, I might put the Fire Emblem characters in Japanese, or maybe I'll put like Cloud and Falco in Japanese. Because I'm pretty sure in Melee they were in Japanese. I think they were all in. In fact, I think up until like Brawl they were in Japanese. Speaking of Fox, he actually has a spoken line, which is interesting. He's one of the few characters that has like an actual like real spoken line. Though since I mentioned Cloud, I should note that he's not dubbed. It's Takahiro Sakurai, which he sounds great. I do kind of wish they got Steve Burton to get him though. I heard in the comments like why they didn't get him. I'm not too sure if I agree with it. I don't remember what the exact. It was some sort of like union thing. I feel like though. I don't know. I think it had something to do with the credits, but I feel like they list all the voice actors. Now they don't list them like Mario being voiced by Charles Martinet. Or like fucking Fox voiced by Scott Holtz. I don't think it's Scott Holtz. I think it's Jimmy Flanders. No, not Jimmy Flanders. I think at one point the guy who voiced Senel in the English dub of Tales of Legendia voiced Cloud. And stuff like that. And obviously Link is voiced in Japanese because he just grunts. I think they just picked his guy from Breath of the Wild, whereas young Link is his guy or his chick rather, from Ocarina and Majora's Mask, and of course Toon Link is the chick from Wind Waker and all that. You know, all that. I wouldn't even be surprised if they just reused some of those lines, which they might have. And some of these other characters I think are also... It's sort of, basically, it's kind of like a mix of the English and the Japanese people, because Funky Kong, I think, is voiced entirely in Japanese. Or, because, like, the memes, like, I think those are all done by a Japanese men. And I think it's Grant Kirkhope doing Donkey Kong, I don't remember. But, yeah, either way, like, the cast overall is pretty good. The only real issue I have with it is that it would have been nice if they got Steve Burton to do Cloud, and it actually would have been nice if they got David Hayter to record some new intercom lines for these other characters, because they include it, but it's only the characters that were in Brawl. And it was like, it would have been really cool if they threw in everyone else, like if he had something to say about Cloud. He's like, I have a feeling I kind of know this guy, because we were both on the PlayStation, and we were both really popular on the PlayStation. That's right, Snake. He's Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII. He's arguably more popular than you, and cooler than you, too. Jeez, I don't really want to hear that on con. I think I'm kind of cooler than him. But, Snake, you don't understand. He's really cool. I think I'm cooler than him. In fact, I'm going to go throw this can at him. I won't sleep well tonight. That was kind of fun. But, yeah, it would have been cool if they got David Hayter to record more stuff. Hopefully, Richter, I don't remember the name of the actor, but I think it's the guy who did him in the redub of Symphony of the Night. Because Alucard is also Yuri Lowenthal, so I think they're using the redub Symphony of the Night cast. I think Lex Lang is doing Simon. I'm pretty sure I'm wrong on that, but someone's doing... I don't remember who they got to do Simon. Dracula, because he shows up. He's voiced by someone, but it could also be... I'm pretty sure they used the actual game cast for the game characters. So I don't think they would have used the guy who did Dracula in the Netflix series, but... So, though, speaking of which, you also have to fight bosses in this game. Like, one of the later ones is Dracula from Castlevania, and it's like this. It's basically like a remake of the fight from Symphony of the Night, where you fight him in his like human form, then he goes into his monster form, like that beginning section of Symphony of the Night where you're playing as Richter. But then you can also fight Giga Bowser. They show the Rathalos fight from fucking Monster Hunter. Some weird clown-looking thing, a robot thing that looked like he was from Mega Man. I'm pretty sure it was from Mega Man. And Genin in like his pure form, and I think it's the version from Breath of the Wild. I'm not entirely sure. I know for one thing interesting to note with Zelda, they went for her classic look, which I find kind of interesting. I guess maybe they felt like the modern Zelda in Breath of the Wild probably is a little too aesthetically different than the other Zelda. So I actually kind of like that, though at the same time it makes me kind of wish that like they had done like a straight up classic Link costume to kind of match her, even though his like classic green tunic look from Breath of the Wild does kind of look like his classic look with like the sleeves and whatnot, the brown sleeves, and the only thing he's really missing is like the hair going down his eye or whatever, and the lack of no pants. But yeah, and then you get to a point where you get to fight Master Hand, and then you fight Crazy Hand, and then you fight the light guy, then a dark guy shows up. The light guy, I believe his name is Galeem, and then the dark guy's called Darkon. You have to fight both of them at different points, and then shit goes down, and they're both trying to do shit. And this was actually kind of cool, because what happens is you get to a point where you have to where they kind of give you a choice. You can either just kill Galeem and assumingly send the world in complete darkness like Xehanort wanted, or you can kill Drakon and like just purge the world in this ever-loving light, which is what I did. And I noticed that like the game kind of stopped after that. So I think this true ending thing that I'm about to bring up actually kind of is the proper ending, because what you can do then is you can fight the two. You can fight Master Hand and Crazy Hand, and they'll help you break this like weird rift thing that you can go into. And when you do that, you actually get to play as Master Hand, like straight up play as Master Hand. I think that's awesome. That's really cool. And they're playing this epic music, and you're just like, poof, poof, and you fight like a million fucking characters, and you beat them up. It took me like I think like one, maybe two tries to like a couple of tries to do it, but I finally got it, and it was really fun to play as. It wasn't like in Melee. I assume Melee because I've never actually done it, because I know there's a glitch that you can do in Melee where you can actually play as Master Hand if you're in the third slot. You can do that, and then bam, you're playing as him. But here it seemed like a little. I assume it's a little more fully fleshed out. Again, I haven't played as Master Hand, so I imagine the major difference between those two versions would be like in here it's probably easier to control them. I don't think they had like, or they may have, I don't know, but it's fun. It was really fun to play as them, and let's see. And then after that, this actually is kind of the part where it got a little annoying, because you have to do like this thing where you go to the top, and you have to fight some bad guys for a little bit, then you go back up, and like you're going up to the top, and then after that you have to do a fucking boss rush of all the bosses, and I'm just all like, I mean, they're not that hard because I've souped up my characters really majorly, but like it's still a pain in the ass, and they give you 3 characters. Because they're all like, okay, you can't do this with one character, and if you lose a character in one mode, but in one section, but you win the next section afterwards, you get that character back, which is pretty useful. Because then what happens in the third one, you have to fight both Galeem and Darkon at the same time, and that was brutal. That's probably the one thing with this game I didn't really like. There were a few missions in World of Light that I felt like they were just testing me beyond belief. Like, I felt like there were a couple of ones where I just like, I don't know if I can do this, so I ended up skipping some of those. There were a couple where it's like, once I kind of cleared my head, and you'd be like, okay, and I was able to kind of win, and those felt good. There was one where you're fighting that souped up version of Little Mac, and he's all like huge, and like he can really hit you really hard, and it's a stamina battle. That one, I had to use the Ridley trick to beat him, which is I say trick, but like apparently I think it's either his down B or his side B where he does like this tail poke thing, and it just hits for like major damage, and I won that way. That being said, I didn't take advantage of the spirits too well until like a little bit later, because I noticed that like based on your opponent, the game will like optimize your spirits for you. If you want, you can like pick a thing, oh, this is the one you should pick, and it'll like make it a little easier for you, because like if there's like a stage hazard, like, oh, there's slippery floors here, but this spirit will make it to where you won't slip, or this one gives you auto heal, which is what I ended up doing for the Galeem and Darkon fight. I had to use the Selby spirit for like which took 3 of my slots. I think I used it with like Alucard, because he was a 3 mini spirit slot spirit, and he also was a defensive type, so it raised my defense, and he had a perk of like your sword attack going up, so that was pretty useful considering I was using Cloud, Link, and ultimately Marth, because Falco wasn't really working. I tried using Chrom, and it worked out okay, because he was pretty similar to Marth in that and most of his moves except his up was that Aether move, or Ether, or whatever it's fucking called. But instead, it didn't really work out for me, because kind of like Cloud's move, like his up, I think it's called Braver or something, or Brave, where he goes up and then he goes down. That kind of hurt me a couple times. Like there's one where I got really close, but with the Chrom, I did his like Aether move and it went down. Because with that move, you have to go down, but with Cloud, you can just go up, and you can actually take advantage of timing that way. You know, because you can delay your down strike if you want to. So Cloud was actually pretty useful in that regard, I think. And they apparently buffed him a little bit too, which helped, I assume. But I was able to finally beat it. It took forever to beat it, but thankfully, since this was on the Switch, I was able to play the game in handheld mode, which is useful for when I'm busy. And I really only have like time to play games at night. That's one thing I really like about the Switch in particular. I think I mentioned this before, that like, you know, I can take it upstairs with me into my bedroom, because all my games are in like my basement, or our basement. But So that's where most of my games are besides the handheld stuff. But I can bring my Switch with me and play upstairs if I want to in my bed while I'm trying to sleep. So yeah, that was some of those World of Light missions were really brutal, and that final one was a little overkill. I honestly would have preferred it if like Galeem and Darkon like merged into like one being, and like maybe they have like 2 health bars. So where it's basically like you're fighting 2 of them at this. Maybe they were thinking like, well, if we have to have it to where there's 2 health bars, we might as well just have it to where they're fighting them at the same time. Thankfully, it didn't really take that long to bring their health down once I finally got everything set up, and they could also hurt each other. So I could focus on one of them while leading the other, or I could focus on one while leading that one's attacks to harm the other and bring them down. It actually really helped, especially when they got into like their like stun mode to where they gave you like 3 hits or free hits for 3, because then like the other one would try to do like this like spear thing, and I basically had to dodge out of the way, and that would hit them and do major damage, and it really actually helped a lot. And then once I finally got a strategy down, I'm not going to show you here because I don't want to deal with all that headache again. Or I might show you part of it. I don't know. If I don't, then I'm sorry. But it really helped. But yeah, so overall, World of Light I thought was okay. I kind of think I prefer Subspace Emissary more. I mainly like the adventure mode and the side-scrolling things. Like I'm coming at it from like liking what Melee did. I like the bosses, and in this one probably the best. But I like adventure mode and Melee, and I kind of liked how Subspace Emissary was basically that. So I think it would have been cool if they brought that back. I don't think they need like that to be a second story mode or have that be the story. Like I think World of Light needs to stay because it was kind of fun, and just it was different. But I kind of also like the adventure mode because it's just kind of fun to like go through a stage and like almost like you're playing a side-scrolling game, and fight some of these other smaller enemies, and then you fight a boss and you can get cool items, and maybe there's a secret you can do. There was some stuff that was kind of like there was one, or I think I don't remember. I know in the credits there's sort of like in the arcade mode. I know I keep calling it the arcade mode. I think it's called arcade mode, whatever. But like there's this thing where you have to like get these points, and like there's like this like wall thing. There's like light energy shot thing chasing you, and you go through and you get points that way. That's kind of fun. I'll probably show a little bit of the arcade mode because in that you could actually fight some of the bosses. That's pretty standard. Nothing really too major about that one. It's just pretty fun, standard stuff. But yeah, overall, World of Light was okay. I felt like some of the difficulty got a little annoying, and it really made me feel like I was really testing my waters with the gaming. But I felt like at some point like it just kind of got a little cheap because I felt like the enemy was just kind of watering me down and like basically tiring me out because my hands would get tired. And it's like, well, it almost felt like I wasn't being challenged in that regard because I was just getting tired. So it's like, okay, well, once I take a rest for like a day or two, or just however long I want to take a rest for, like I'll be back and I'll probably win. So it's like it's not even that you really beat me, you just tired me out. But yeah, not bad. Overall, I think I liked the game. I still, like I said, I would have preferred a more like adventure mode or Subspace Emissary thing along with World of Light. I guess the only way for it to work is that like if you had both, maybe World of Light gets trimmed down a little bit, or maybe the adventure mode gets trimmed down a little bit. I don't know. Maybe they'll throw it in as DLC or something. Probably not. But overall, everything else, I know I've said like overall like 5 million times, but besides my issues with World of Light and sort of the general difficulty of some of these fights in the game, I felt like the presentation was really good. I like the music. Graphics are really nice and pretty. It's nice to be able to play a game like this on the go without having to sit next to the TV like on the Wii U. I can actually take it into a different room or take it somewhere with me. And I played most of it on handheld mode. I did my actual attempt to defeat... No, I didn't. I actually beat it in handheld. I was going to say I tried doing it on the TV mode, and that actually did work pretty well. I think used the GameCube controller a little bit. But yeah, pretty good. I mainly use the Switch Pro controller and handheld mode, which worked out okay. There were a couple of times where when I was trying to um, do one thing. I think it was when I was trying to grab or something. I kept hitting the guard button, or I kept hitting the wrong button. That would kind of mess me up a couple times, and that got kind of annoying in handheld mode. The controller, I think, kind of fixed that, but I was able to kind of figure it out, because it usually happened like once I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I'm hitting the wrong button, and then I, do it right. But yeah, overall, pretty decent game. Like I said, everything was pretty good about the presentation and the look and the graphics and the music and the gameplay overall. Some of the missions in World of Light got a little annoying, and I felt like the true ending was a little overboard, but it's doable. So if you're worried that you might not be able to do it, it'll be okay, dog. You'll be able to do it. I trust you. But yeah, I'd probably give it like maybe like a 8 out of 10, I guess. It seems pretty reasonable. It was a pretty good game. I don't know if I want another Smash game anytime soon. I know they always take a fair amount of time to come out. And if they do make another one, I hope they kind of add in even more unique characters. I imagine for the next one, they'll probably take out some of the characters in here to kind of fit the roster a little better, I guess. I would prefer it if they just, since they already have all the modern like setup and data for all these characters anyway, they might as well just throw them all in. It's not like it's going to be that big of a pain. But, it's up to them, obviously. I don't want to make them work more. I saw that article that Masahiro Sakurai just, like, hooked up an IV to him while he was working. Like, he works way too damn hard. But, he cares about his fan base and his customers, so good on him. But, yeah. I guess that's it. This is Flamzeron, aka YouTube Tasuke, signing out. See you later.